Hello, this is the video number 1 where I will cover the technique of calls. First of all, the calls appear in the high register of one's voice, meaning head voice. So the sound that we will make will resonate in our head, which is the opposite of when we speak, that people tend to speak in their chest, and the resonance happens here in our chest. The best way how to find this sound and the placement of the sound is through imitation. I like to use the exercise of imitating a siren. So for example, wee, wee, wee. One thing to remember is that we want to keep relaxed and low placement of our larynx. So if you try to touch it here in our throat, you will feel a little bump. That's where your larynx are. So if we think about a yawn, we will feel that all this part will go a little bit lower. So when doing the calls, we want to keep it quite low. Wee, wee, wee. In that way, avoiding any tension. Another thing to remember is the breath support. Before we do the vocal call, I like to imagine that my rib cage goes out and also my stomach goes out a little bit. So I create more space. And once I make the vocal call, I think about a little push in my lower belly. So basically, I take a breath. Whee! And once I make the call, I think about the push. Whee! And combining it with the lower larynx. Whee! 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 So once we've established a natural, comfortable position of the call, we can add something that will make the sound more piercing, as if the traditional singers from Sweden would do it when doing crooning. So what we need to find is twang, meaning that we will try to find the resonance here in the muscles around our nose. Wow! The best way how to find this sound is again through imitation. We will imitate a baby cry. Wah! 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 Or another way, witch laugh. Wah! So some people really can feel it also vibrating here. The resonance is really happening here. So once we found this wah, wah, wah sound, we can try to add it in our vocal call. So let's remember the original position of the vocal call. Wee! Wee! Now we will add a little bit more of this resonance. Wee! 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 So the previous one was a little bit broader, a little bit darker sound. Wee! Wee! And now we make it a little bit more piercing, a little bit more bright. Wee! 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 The last step is to use the calls in musical context. I will demonstrate the last 3 calls of the example number 5 called Klusiņām izganīja.